I'm not trying to talk about him.
Unlike anyone else.
But knowing y'all
will probably make me.
This is the Stephen A. Smith Show.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the latest edition of the Stephen A. Smith Show, coming at you as I love to do every weekday from 1 to 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time over the airwaves of Sirius XM, Mad Dog Sports Radio, Channel 82. Number to call up as always is 888 Mad Dog 6. That's 888 Mad Dog 6. That's 888-623-3646. And of course, as always, if you want to leave in a voicemail message, let's not forget you can do that too on this show, courtesy of SiriusXM.com/GetSirius. It's an app right there, SiriusXM.com/GetSirius. That's where you go to leave your voicemail messages. We got a lot of stuff to get into today, okay? There's a few things to get into. I'm going to get into some football talk, pro football talk, because of Thursday night with Seattle and Arizona, because of this weekend with Lamar and the Ravens going up against Mahomes and the Chiefs, with the Eagles balling out, okay? We got to get into a whole bunch of stuff that's going on this weekend in terms of supremacy within the NFC. Who's the number one threat to the Philadelphia Eagles? These are legitimate questions when you look at the Lions, the Packers, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and now the Seattle Seahawks. There's some college football to get into because two big games stand out above the crowd. Oregon going up against Penn State, okay, in State Park. And, of course, you've got Alabama traveling to Athens, Georgia, to go up against the Bulldogs, who are trying to extend their 33-game home winning streak. And Kalen DeBoer, by the way, for Alabama, is trying to stay off the hot seat. I got some NBA stuff to get into involving LeBron and the Los Angeles Lakers, J.J. Redick and the Los Angeles Lakers. We got a lot of stuff to get into today, but I'm going to lean on what transpired Thursday night to start things off, because in Arizona, the Seattle Seahawks held on for a 23-20 victory over the Arizona Cardinals and Kyler Murray last night. They were up 20-6, having their way with Arizona, sacking Kyler Murray about 6 times, having him run for his life half the damn time. You know, they're all over the place. And then he ultimately stormed back. Marvin Harrison Jr. dropping passes, leading the interceptions because he can't hold on to the football 1 minute, and making spectacular catches the next, and showing his relevancy to the Arizona Cardinals' plans. I got to say this about Seattle. I don't know how much longer we're going to be able to talk about the NFC without talking about the Seattle Seahawks. I don't know how much longer we're going to be able to get away with talking about the NFC and true legitimate contenders within the conference without bringing up this team. Now, I was a bit hesitant. And to be honest with you, I still am. Because when I look at their season opening loss, you lost to a San Francisco team who I don't think is really great, okay? There's no Brandon Ayuk there right now. He was injured. There's no Deebo Samuel there any longer. Yeah, you got C-Mac there, Christian McCaffrey. We get that. We got that. And Brock Purdy was in the lineup for the opening of the season when they beat Seattle 17-13. But ever since then, what do? They beat the Steelers. They stomp on the Saints. And then they show up and they beat Arizona, who was 2-0 2-1 rather, coming into the game. So I'm looking at it from that standpoint, and I'm saying to myself, look, it is what it is, okay? But I'm looking at Seattle, and I'm like, Sam Darnold, how much more longer? This is his seventh game-winning drive over the last season in 3 games. 5 with Minnesota last year, already 2 with the Seahawks this go-round. Sam Darnold is the same dude that threw for 35 touchdowns, 12 interceptions last year in Minnesota for over 4,300 yards passing. That's who Sam Darnold is. The guy that was resurrected by Kevin O'Connell, the head coach for the Minnesota Vikings. That same Sam Darnold is now in Seattle, and he looked incredibly composed in leading the Seattle Seahawks in the field goal range to hit the game-winning field goal. I got to give credit where credit is due. Now, I still can't forget the fact that they were 14-2 with him last year, and then they were showering him with water after they had won a game, and there was still a division crown to play for against Detroit, where they got smacked, and it looked like he choked. They got blitzed, and then after that, you go into the playoffs against the Rams, and you get stomped. So I didn't forget that either. But the point is, when you look at him and what he's bringing to the table, you really, really can't say enough. And you just got to give credit where credit is due. There's no way around that. I got to do that when it comes to Sam Darnold. But I got to tell you right now, even though you got him, even though you got Kenneth Walker III, who's a damn good running back when healthy, even though you've got this cat Jackson Smith and Jigba, who can ball. And in terms of receiving yards, he's second only to Puka Nacua, all right, in L.A. this year in terms of what kind of yards he's averaged. He's averaging over 100 yards receiving yards a game. This brother's no joke. He has arrived. And you're just looking at them right now and you're saying to yourself, okay, that's good enough. But when you really, really get down to it, you got to look at Seattle's defense. These brothers hunt. And you got to give credit where credit is due when it comes to them right now. I can't say enough about McDonald and the job that he's doing and they're doing and their coaching staff right now. Whether it's Witherspoon, it's Jones, it's Love, it's Leonard Williams. I mean, the list goes on. Seattle is no joke. But I also think it is time to have a little conversation about Kyler Murray. Because he's been in the league long enough now. He doesn't have a single playoff victory in his career. And again, not trying to necessarily point a finger or blame or whatever. We're just dealing with reality. We're just dealing with the fact that, listen, this is what it is. When I think about Kyler Murray right now, I've got my questions. I'm wondering, all right? Not bad night, 66% completions, 200 yards, 2 touchdown passes, interceptions that wasn't his fault, sacked 6 times, but a QBR of only 27.8. And oh, by the way, only 4.9 yards per attempt. That's nothing. Nobody's buying that. That's not going to get it done if you are the Arizona Cardinals. Mike McDonald's defense in Seattle is nothing to sneeze at. They've held all 4 opponents this season to 20 points or less. So we got to recognize the fact that they ain't playing around. They're not playing around. But the question when it comes to Arizona, it's a different matter altogether. Because I do think it's time to start asking questions about Kyler Murray. And I just wanted to throw that out there. 888 Mad Dog 6 is the number to call. It's 888-623-3646. You're listening live to the Stephen A. Smith Show, Sirius XM, Mad Dog Sports Radio. That's one item I wanted to get into. Here's the other. My condolences to Cowboy fans everywhere. Because y'all about to get y'all ass kicked. I can't imagine this game being close. Their defense is awful. You can run on them. You damn sure can throw on Dallas's defense. So Jordan Love, despite what we saw from him in Green Bay's offense against Cleveland last weekend, which, by the way, is one of the best defenses in football, going up against Dallas, Jordan Love should have a field day. He really, really should. There's really no way around it. He really should have a field day. So that's number one. Josh Jacobs should too, by the way. Number 2, Micah Parsons, Rashawn Gary, and those brothers, they're going to be hunting. And if you neutralize the run in any way and you get them at a deficit where Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys got to turn around and throw that damn football, then that allows Micah to wind up and hunt. And don't listen to him and his lies when he's talking about it's just another game. Ain't nobody believing that crap. It's not just another game. Micah Parsons didn't want to leave Dallas. He didn't want to depart from Big D to go to Green Bay. He was left no choice because Jerry Jones clearly didn't want to resign him. Jerry Jones clearly had other plans. With the whole holdout during the negotiations and refusing to talk to David Mulugeta, his representative, who also represents George Pickens, Jerry Jones wide receiver in Dallas, by the way. All of this stuff, all of this unnecessary noise. The bottom line is this. When you look at it, you have to say to yourself, it's hard to imagine that Dallas is going to even make this a game. It really, really is hard to imagine. Because I'm trying to figure out how the hell they're going to do it. I don't see it. If you get to hunt Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb is not there, and his primary weapon is now going to be George Pickens, the only person in Dallas that should enjoy the weekend that is coming is George Pickens. Because you're heading into free agency. This is a contract year, and CeeDee Lamb is hurt, which automatically elevates you to being the number 1 option for Dak Prescott come Sunday. So because that's your reality, it's an opportunity for you to shine, for you to take the bull by the horn, for you to show that you're worthy of being considered a number one receiver. That at the very least, you're going to get Terry McLaurin money because you ain't going to get CeeDee Lamb money. Something along those lines. You should be thinking along those lines if you are George Pickens. Outside of that, there's nothing that anybody in Dallas has to look forward to. Nothing. I mean, you can make the argument that Jerry Jones has headlines to look forward to, has pub to look forward to, that the cameras are going to easily find him every time Micah Parsons makes a spectacular play. Assuming that happens, you know the camera's going to be looking at Jerry because Jerry is sitting up there letting you know. And speaking of Jerry and Micah Parsons, they both been talking a little bit leading into this game. They really, really have. And I think it's important first for us to hear from Micah Parsons. Play that sound for me, fellas, please.
There's a lot of things I can consider disrespectful throughout this process, but I wouldn't say the tribute is one of them. I would say, I just think, there's hard feelings maybe there for them, but, for me, I'm happy where I'm at, and we got a really good football team, so I guess I can give you my tribute and a win.
That was Micah Parsons. Not that riveting. It is what it is. Fair enough. But did y'all hear what Jerry Jones had to say? If you didn't, take a listen to this, please.
It was nothing personal. I told you I like Micah. And there was no issue regarding, as much as people wanted to make that of it, there was no issue regarding feelings relative to the negotiation. Certainly not on my part. It was just par for the course. And the facts are the negotiation was ongoing. Now, people made a lot of that we weren't talking. I had on the table the best I could do.
That's not entirely correct. Jerry could have done better than what he offered. You can't say that was the best that you could do. That's not true. That's not true. But I will also say this. Did you hear what Jerry said early this morning? Because maybe we don't have that sound, and I don't have the exact quote in front of me, but allow me to paraphrase it for y'all, ladies and gentlemen. Jerry Jones was on the record stating that there are, and I'm paraphrasing because I don't have the direct quote in front of me, that there are flaws in Micah Parsons' game. Specifically against the run. We didn't win any Super Bowls when he was here. And he showed you when he was here that we could be run on with him out there on that football field. That's what Jerry was saying. Totally crazy. I mean, not totally wrong from the standpoint of, yeah, if anybody has any kind of criticism or any kind of critique about Micah Parsons' game, it's definitely him against the run. Even though in Green Bay, he's been playing against the run effectively as well as against the pass, okay? But the point is Jerry Jones' willingness to say that, knowing that Micah Parsons is coming into town, knowing that Micah Parsons is coming to hunt his quarterback. You would think that the owner for the Dallas Cowboys wouldn't say such a thing, wouldn't be so antagonistic. You understand? Trying to pinch or twinge you a little bit. You would think he wouldn't do that. But that's exactly what he did. And so now things are going to get very, very, very interesting. We shall see. We shall see. 888 Mad Dog 6 is the number to call up. That's 888-623-3646. Again, 888 Mad Dog 6 is the number to call up. That's 888-623-3646. One other thing I want to get to before we go to the calls. I want to say this. When you look at the NFC, I don't see the Cowboys making the playoffs. I don't see the Cowboys making the playoffs. I just don't see it. We assume that Washington will probably be there. We know the Eagles are going to be there. We know the Lions are going to be there. We know the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to be there. Where things get suddenly very, very interesting is in the AFC, is in the NFC West. San Francisco's not losing games right now. They're undefeated. Seattle's at 3-1. The Rams could have easily been 3-0 had they not blown their lead to the Philadelphia Eagles, but we know they're very good. And the Cardinals are a threat. But those top 3 teams in the West, you can't ignore. I predict that 2 of those 3 teams are going to the playoffs. You got Tampa, you got Philly, you got Detroit. Okay? So there's room for 2 more. And who are those other 2 teams going to be? It remains to be seen, but things are getting very, very interesting. But the bigger question to me is, who's the number 1 threat to the Philadelphia Eagles in the NFC? Because of Detroit's offense, I'm going to have to say them. Because they've been knocking on the door, because I believe in Dan Campbell, I'm going to have to say them. But when you see the way that Baker Mayfield has been playing, when you see the Seattle defense, when you see what's transpiring, and you see the way Brian Flores has Minnesota's defense playing, what if they get any level? What if they continue to get any kind of production from Carson Wentz while J.J. McCarthy is out? I mean, these are very, very legitimate questions. And I ain't even mentioned Green Bay. It's getting interesting, y'all. It's getting interesting. 888 Mad Dog 6 is always the number to call up. That's 888-623-3646. Plus, you want to leave me a voicemail message, go to SiriusXM.com/GetSerious. That's SiriusXM.com/GetSerious. Why do I bring that up? Because every great take starts with someone brave enough to speak up. Today, that could be you. So again, submit your voice message right now at SiriusXM.com/GetSerious. All right? Lots to get into. I already brought up the NFL. I'm going to talk about some college football as well. I'm going to talk about some baseball as well. And I'm going to even get into a little NBA because we all know that's my wheelhouse. There's a lot to come your way, and I'm here for it. You're listening live to the Stephen A. Smith Show, SiriusXM, Mad Dog Sports Radio. Back with your calls and more in a minute.